All right, welcome back. Welcome back, gang. This is Sports Buds TV. My name is Serge, and we've got a big show for you all today. Of course, so like always, this is Sports Buds TV. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and share this video. But as far as today, it's a big week in boxing, so let's get right to it. For this main event, we've got David Benavidez taking on Demetrius Andrade tomorrow, November 25th. A big fight in boxing to finish out the year. Of course, there's quite a few fights still left, but this is a huge fight on the schedule, one that you do not want to miss. Like I said here to start off, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe here to the channel, wherever you're listening to us. We definitely would appreciate that. All right, so a few things we're going to discuss today. We're going to get into that main event between the Mexican Monster and, of course, Boo Boo for the 168 WBC interim title, which right now, David Benavidez is the champion. He holds that interim championship, and he'll put it on the line. The WBC has already said that the winner of this fight will be the mandatory. And in David's case, I'd got to say he'd be the mandatory to face Canelo Alvarez for the WBC 168 championship. So a lot to be determined from tomorrow night's, main event matchup. Before we get to that main event, we have the co-main event. In that fight, we will see Jermall Charlo back in action after a few years out of the ring, and he'll be taking on Jose Benavidez Jr. So this is an interesting matchup. Of course, this is not going to be for Jermall's 168 WBC championship belt. This is a catch weight, but a lot came out of the weigh-in today where Mal missed weight. He had a second attempt to try to make weight and went ahead and missed it again by some, more there. It was definitely unexpected. Not a lot of us, Jermall being the 168 champion, you'd figure, he's been out of the ring. He may need some getting used to, but the fact that, after the initial weigh-in, he's not able to, and then he gets about an hour or so to come back, cut some more weight off, and hopefully make the catch weight, and instead comes in heavier. So that was unexpected. A lot of people were kind of turned away by it. But let's go ahead and start there. Let's start with the co-main event tomorrow night. And today we'll start off with the tail of the tape here. This is from the Premier Boxing Championship social media page, so shout out to them. And also from there, we get to see the DraftKings odds as of today. So here we see that Mal at a minus 800, definitely the favorite in the bout here. And then we'll see Jose Benavidez at a plus 500. So if there ever was an underdog. Now, what I want to do, let me also play for you all a clip from the weigh-in from the co-main event between these two. Then we'll do like we do, in other episodes. We'll come back and discuss some of the vibes, the energy that we're getting from that weigh-in, the final face-off before they actually get in the ring. So let's play that clip here. I'm pulling it up now.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Do not miss our co-main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing and a catchweight special attraction. Jermall Hitman Charlo versus Jose Benavidez Jr.
All right, so that's the clip there. I also want to, we have the teletape again here where we can see how they stack up against each other. But what I have next is from the, of course, PBC social media page. We have a clip of some of the comments there after the weigh-in. So let's pull
Jose
up.
Benavidez Jr., Jose, the contracted weight limit, 163. Obviously, Jermall comes in over, but you guys are continuing to move forward with the fight. What were your thoughts on him weighing over the weight limit?
He's a little bitch that's not dedicated. That's all it is. That's all I have to say. I'm going to fuck him up tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jose Benavidez Jr.
All right. So we see what Jose had to say. Never a loss for words with him, right? But he makes it obvious. You know, he feels it was unprofessional, right? Coming in overweight the way he did after the second attempt. Jose was not happy with that at all, and let him know in so many words what he thinks of him. Let's give Maul a chance to respond. So I'm going to pull up Maul and his comments right after that weigh-in and face-off. And of course, this is the ceremonial weigh-in. The actual official one took place a few hours prior. But let's get those comments here.
We're here with Jamal Charlo. Jamal, you heard what Jose had to say. Your response?
I ain't him.
Well, he said he's obviously very upset. You came in over the weight limit. You know, what are your thoughts?
What you mean? Thoughts about what? Yeah? It's cool. The fight gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna show y'all tomorrow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jamal Charlo.
So I guess from there, you know, his initial comments coming right off of that, you know, face off, where in the face off, he looks more cool, calm, collected, confident. You know, Jose tries to get him with that flinch, you know, 2 for flinching type of deal. He takes it like a champ, straight up Kobe death stare on some Matt Barnes. So with that, now we go to his comments thereafter. He's making, you know, I didn't hear him. I don't know. I feel like if we're scoring that as a round, I'd have to give that to Jose. And then if we factor in, you know, Maul coming in above that catch weight limit. Now, the reports are that because he's come in over that catch weight limit, I believe it's over $200,000 that he's going to be fined. So that's money coming out of his pocket and going into Jose's pocket there. And the word is if he comes in heavier tomorrow, there's some even heavier fines that will come along with that. So interesting to keep in mind, stuff to keep in mind here when it comes to this fight that we'll be seeing in the co-main event between Jamal Charlo and Jose Benavidez. Now it's time for me to make a pick here. You know, I want to go with Maul. I want to say he's the champion at 160, undefeated. But with the energy, the vibes that we're getting from the weigh-in, that final comments there after the weigh-in, and then, I mean, if I take it a little bit further to, you know, maybe his twins performance, what we saw against Canelo not too long ago, earlier this year. What's going on with the Charlos? I mean, it's not like Jose has been on this roll and, you know, is just taking everybody out. But I think if we just leave it to tomorrow night and how they look today heading into tomorrow night, I might say it's worth taking a flyer on Jose Benavidez. But smart money, you got to go with Maul. He's the undefeated champion, and it makes sense. I mean, honestly, for him going forward and the plans with, you know, the promotion and where they're at with that, you know, deal and the relationship that's ending. We'll see what happens. But I think it would make more sense for Maul. And if he's able to pull it off, definitely get his spirits back up after being out of the ring for this long amount of time, over, 2 years now. Now, the WBC might have something to think about here. He's the 160 champion, was not able to get that catch weight, which was just over that 160 limit, been out of the ring for 2 years. How long can they just, you know, justify him being a champion and letting other fighters in the division not be able to fight for that title? Interesting, a lot to be discussed, but I'd say my final pick has to go with Maul. I might just be rooting for Jose and maybe for him to pull out that Felix, right, that we saw from the Creed movies, the Felix character, and be able to, you know, walk away with that victory. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that. With that said, we have now arrived to our destination for the actual main event tomorrow night. And this is a big fight in boxing. I said earlier in the show, if David is able to, you know, win tomorrow night and beats Boo Boo, he may be considered fighter of the year, having fought, you know, Caleb Plant earlier, having defeated him, and then taking off taking off Boo Boo off his undefeated streak that he's been on. Very, very interesting and something to consider there. But like we did with the co-main event, I do have some clips here for the main event. Let me pull those up. Let's start off with the tail of the tape. Again, these clips and these images that you're seeing here for the tell of the tape. That's from the Premier Boxing Championship social media page. Make sure you follow them as well for all that great content when it comes to their fights that they are putting on. All right, here we go. So we've got the tell of the tape. Of course, the odds are here with what DraftKings had as of today. David Benavidez at a minus 390. And then we see Boo Boo at a plus 290. So there's your underdog if you're looking for one. Let's get some clips up here to dive into this main event. So let's pick up with let's do the weigh-in, that final face-off. Of course, we said the final face-off before they actually get in the ring tomorrow and do this for real. Let's see here.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. The next time they face off will be the center of the ring for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds,
really
interim WBC
classy,
Super
respectful
Middleweight World title. David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade.
Now, some of the other clips I've seen going around kind of have a better audio of, Boo Boo telling him and still and the new. That's kind of been his motto for this fight. As he says, he'll still be undefeated and he'll be the new WBC, in his eyes, 168 WBC champion of the world, interim champion of the world again. And for David, he's letting him know he's going to fuck him up. In so many words, he's letting him know that's exactly what's going to happen. So here's the tell of the tape. We can get a really good idea of, how they stack up against each other. We see their records. This is definitely a big fight in boxing. Two undefeated fighters, arguably at the peak of their powers. This should be that type of fight where the boxing fans, the boxing world will stop and definitely pay attention to what happens tomorrow night. So like we did in that co-main event, after we saw the final face-off, each of the fighters had a chance to let us know their final thoughts heading into tomorrow. So let's start off with Boo Boo and what he had to say.
Demetrius Andrade and Demetrius, final face-off against David Benavidez. You guys obviously have a lot of mutual respect for each other, but how does a win over David Benavidez, what does that do for your career?
It just, and new, and still, baby, and new, and still, baby, and new, and still, baby.
Demetrius, one last question. Tomorrow night it goes down, Michelob Ultra Arena, November 25th. Prediction, how does it end tomorrow?
And new, and still.
Hey, the confidence is there. Boo Boo, I'm a huge fan of both of these fighters, and Boo Boo does not lack any confidence. Just over 2 years ago, I believe it's after the Billy Joe Saunders fight and Canelo Alvarez, right? He's at this point stacked up another bout there, another one of his Thanos rings there to become undisputed. But as he's in that final and that the press conference after the fight, Boo Boo comes in, respectfully starts off by interrupting and asking when is he going to get a shot. You may not see that as respectful if he's interrupting. Canelo sure didn't. Let him know he wanted him to get the fuck up out of there. And yeah, Demetrius didn't like that ever since then. He's taken a lot of flack for, his career and maybe some of the matches that haven't had, a chance to take place. Tomorrow night, this is definitely a big notch on his belt. If he's able to take down the Mexican monster, at that point, you can't deny the man. You want to call him a horrible fighter? I don't think so. I think he's definitely calculated in what he's doing. An Olympian, and that may not mean much to some, but I think that's carried him and given him a good background to be able to fall back on when need to. And I mean, his record speaks for itself. He's been able to be undefeated and carry that on. Now that's for Boo Boo's side. Let's give David a chance to speak and say his side of what he's thinking before getting into that ring tomorrow night. So let's pull that up now.
The Mexican monster, David Benavidez. David, congratulations and Final face-off, as I mentioned with Demetrius, what does a win over Andrade do for your career? You said you want the toughest challenges out there, and Demetrius Andrade is one of the toughest challenges out there. How do you solve that puzzle?
I just want to keep being the best, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, and to keep performing at the best of my abilities for all my people here. I appreciate everybody who came out. Los quiero mucho. Vamos con todo este sábado. Gracias.
David, final question. How does it all go down tomorrow night?
I'm knocking his ass out.
There you have it. I'm knocking his ass out. We talked about the confidence from Boo Boo, the Mexican monster, definitely confident heading into tomorrow night. So with that said, I mean, David, as he's had quite a long list of critics saying, you know, this kid ain't ready. He has wasted some of his best years already doing some of the stuff outside of the ring. Say what you will of the guy. When he gets in that ring, he's a monster, and he's going to show that out. I definitely believe that tomorrow night he's going to show that, and it's going to come out. He's going to prove, you know, he's that monstro. He's now going by just the monstro moniker. So with that said, now it's time for, let's just get one last look here at the tail of the tape. You can see that final record. The record for each of them one final time. See their reach, how they stack up against each other. Very good stuff there. So here is the end of our show, and it is time for me to make a pick for that main event. Again, I'm looking forward to this fight. It's one I've been looking forward to since we heard that it was official. It's quite a way to wrap up this year, and we still have a few fights left. A big one, Devin Haney, Regis Prograis, will be taking place next month. I'm definitely excited about that, where it's Regis putting up his belt. I believe that's the 140 belt of the WBC, so a big one to look forward to. And tomorrow night, before all this takes place with the Benavidez Andrade fight, we'll see Chantal Cameron, and she'll be taking on Katie Taylor in their rematch. So boxing is just on a roll right now. But like I said, this fight here tomorrow night, the Mexican monster, the monstro, el bandera roja, whatever you want to call him. And of course, it's me again, Demetrius, right? Boo Boo Andre. Very excited, very excited. I cannot wait for this one. Of course, in the co-main event, we see Maul coming back. We'll see Jose Jr. Facing off, and see, it seems like a grudge match all of a sudden, you know, just popped out of nowhere with those two. But for that main event, here comes my pick. I am going with David, the Mexican monster, Benavidez. He's been working hard, and it seems that these last few years, after some of that, you know, earlier stuff that took place in his career, he's been able to put that behind him, and he seems focused and more prepared than ever before to finally step up and take that mantle that he's been telling people that he's ready for. So tomorrow night, I believe that's just another step like he took against Plant to make sure that he is making himself known as the face of boxing possibly here very soon. He's already mentioned wanting to fight the likes of, you know, Canelo Alvarez. He's been mandatory for a while. So if he doesn't want to fight him, so be it. He's already mentioned wanting to fight people like in the next division up, going to see Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev, just a few names there. He's also mentioned fighting his buddy there, Zurdo Ramirez, who's now gone up a weight class in there. And he said, who knows, maybe eventually even fighting as a heavyweight. So this kid has a lot, and I say kid, he's 26, 27, right? But he has so many plans left and things that he wants to do in his career. I believe tomorrow night is just another step forward to catapulting him into that face of boxing and face of, you know, Mexican boxing, being the Mexican monster. He's also Ecuadorian, so, you know, Ecuadorian boxing, and just overall representing for, you know, the Latinos, if you will, and making sure that he is cementing himself as one of the faces of boxing. So tomorrow night, I've got David Benavidez beating Boo Boo, Demetrius Andrade. I think it's going to be exciting. I think Demetrius will make it very exciting in those first 5 to 6 rounds. It may even be where he's winning most of those rounds. But as the fight goes on, David's just going to overwhelm him with the volume of punches, the different combinations that David comes up with when he's in his fights. it's going to be a very entertaining fight that we're going to get. I know that our last show was Shakur Stevenson. I was looking forward to that one quite a bit, and some of us came away with not the best thoughts after seeing that fight. I didn't mind it. I thought that was an entertaining fight for the skills, the technicality, and I appreciated it. For tomorrow night, we'll get some of that. I have no doubt about it, especially Demetrius being who he is and the type of fighter that he is. But expect to see David do some of the things that we didn't see as far as Shakur being challenged, as far as being able to cut off the ring. Right, Edwin de los Santos was not able to do that. Being able to cut off the ring, keep throwing those combinations until you're able to find your opponent there and impose that power with, which I think David's going to be able to do. Eventually, after the 5th or 6th round, we're going to see that volume of punches just continue to overwhelm Andre. So that is my pick. That is my official pick here for Sports Buds TV. But I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your comments. Let me know who you're picking, who you're going with. Let me know how excited you are about this fight or the rest of the fights that we're going to see at the end of this year. But we're definitely interested in your thoughts, and we're here to listen to what you have to say. Follow us on all social media platforms. Don't forget, this has been Sports Buds TV. My name is Serge. Looking forward to tomorrow night, November 25th, watching David Benavidez taking on Demetrius Andrade, and we can't wait to see that. We'll discuss that next week and get into some more of what's going on in the sports world. Thank you all for listening. This has been Sports Buds TV. You all be good.